You didn't click this video by accident. Carl Jung believed that when a message appears at the exact moment you need it, it's not coincidence. It's your unconscious trying to wake you up. And if you're here, listening to this, something in your life is already shifting, quietly, beneath the surface, waiting for you to notice. Most people move through life half asleep. They wake up, repeat the same routines, think the same thoughts, chase the same distractions, and call it living. But nothing truly changes. Not because they're weak, but because they've never learned to hear the deeper voice inside them. Jung warned that the unconscious speaks in whispers long before it speaks in explosions. A restlessness, a strange moment of clarity, a coincidence too specific to ignore. A message, just like this one, showing up at the exact time you're finally able to understand it, and whether you realize it or not. That's what brought you here. Maybe you've felt it lately. A tension you can't explain, a dissatisfaction you try to ignore, a subtle sense that something in your life has become too small for who you're becoming. That feeling is not random, it's a signal. Jung said that your life doesn't change when you decide it should change. It changes when you become honest with yourself, painfully, uncomfortably honest, when you stop pretending the old version of you is enough. When you stop hiding behind excuses, when you stop convincing yourself that later is a plan. Right now, your unconscious is pushing you toward a threshold, a doorway, a moment where you can finally choose to stop living the same story on repeat. Think about it. How many times have you felt stuck but didn't know why? How many times have you sensed that something needs to shift, but you kept going anyway? How many times have you told yourself you're fine, while a deeper part of you whispered, you're not? Jung believed that if you ignore that whisper long enough, life will force you to face what you refuse to see. But if you catch the signal early, if you listen to that inner pull, you can change before the crisis arrives, and that's the opportunity you're standing in right now. You didn't find this video. You were pulled to it because somewhere inside you, a part of your identity is cracking open. A belief is dying, a limitation is dissolving. The life you've been tolerating can't survive the person you're becoming. Most people never reach this moment. They drown it in noise, entertainment, comfort, and denial. But you didn't. You stayed. You listened. That alone means you're not the same person you were even a few minutes ago. This is where Jung says transformation begins. Not with motivation, not with discipline, but with awareness. The moment you finally see the truth you've been avoiding is the moment everything starts to shift. Quietly, subtly, powerfully. Think about that. Jung believed that every transformation begins with a disturbance, an inner earthquake that shakes the life you've been pretending is stable. Most people see this disturbance as a problem, a setback, a sign that something is going wrong. But Jung saw it differently. He said that your psyche creates discomfort on purpose, not to punish you, but to push you. Because without discomfort, nothing changes. Comfort keeps you asleep. Discomfort forces you to wake up. Think about your own life for a moment. Every time you grew, every time you evolved, every time you stepped into a stronger version of yourself, it happened after something disrupted you. A rejection, a betrayal, a failure, a realization. These weren't accidents. They were turning points. Jung called these moments the call of the self, your deeper identity trying to pull you away from who you've been and toward who you're meant to become. But here's the problem. Most people run from this call. They numb it with distraction. They drown it with noise. They bury it under routines and responsibilities. They cling to the familiar, even when the familiar is destroying them. And yet, no matter how much they run, the call eventually catches them because the unconscious always wins. Jung said that the unconscious will disrupt your life as many times as necessary until you finally listen. First as a whisper, then a warning, then a crisis. If you've been feeling restless, if your life has felt heavier than usual, if your thoughts have become louder, sharper, more demanding, It's not random. It's the beginning of an internal breakdown. Not the destructive kind, but the revealing kind. Your old identity is cracking. Your old beliefs are loosening. Your old emotional armor is beginning to fall apart. And that can feel terrifying, because change always begins by taking something away before it gives something back. Jung said that the ego, the fragile little story we tell ourselves, fights this process with everything it has. It wants control. It wants certainty. It wants the illusion that you already know who you are and what you're doing. But the unconscious doesn't care about your ego's comfort. It cares about your wholeness. So when you feel lost, when nothing feels the same, when you're confused about what's next, you're not failing, you're transitioning. Something is being dismantled inside you so something stronger can be built in its place. That's why Jung said crisis is not the end of your path. It's the doorway to it. People think change begins when they feel inspired. But Jung claimed the opposite. Real change begins when you can no longer tolerate your own illusions, when the life you're living becomes too small for the person you are becoming. And maybe that's where you are right now. Not broken, not lost, but standing at the edge of a psychological shift you can feel but can't yet explain. You're not here to be motivated. You're here because something inside you is preparing to evolve. Let that settle in. Before we go deeper, let me tell you something Jung understood well. When a message begins to change you, you don't let it disappear. So if this is resonating, if you feel something shifting inside you, make sure you subscribe so the next part of your evolution actually reaches you when you need it. Jung believed transformation happens in stages, and you don't want to walk this alone. Now, let's continue. There comes a moment in every person's life when running is no longer possible. You can distract yourself for years. You can pretend everything is fine. You can fill your days with noise, people, routines, and responsibilities. But eventually, you reach a point where the truth catches you. Jung called this the return of the shadow. The shadow is not the dark part of you. It's the ignored part, the buried part, the unlived part. It's every emotion you suppressed so you could survive. Every dream you silenced so you wouldn't disappoint anyone. Every part of your personality you killed just to fit into a world that rewarded comfort over authenticity. But here's the catch. The shadow doesn't disappear when you ignore it. It waits, it grows, and eventually, it starts to leak through the cracks of your daily life. This is why you feel irritated for no reason. Why you feel empty even when everything looks fine. Why you feel disconnected from things that once excited you. Why you can't explain the heaviness sitting quietly in your chest. That heaviness is not a flaw. It's communication. Your shadow is trying to get your attention. Jung said that the paradox of growth is this. What you avoid holds the power to free you. But people fear facing themselves more than they fear failure, rejection, or judgment. Because facing yourself means admitting truths you've ignored for years. You're not as confident as you pretend. You're not as healed as you claim. You're not as satisfied as you appear. You're not as fine as you tell the world. And yet, the moment you finally stop pretending, something incredible happens. The fear loses its shape. The truth becomes less threatening. Your mind stops fighting itself. Jung said that inner conflict is born from avoidance. The moment you stop avoiding, the conflict begins to loosen. This is why people often feel sudden clarity after a breakdown. It's not the collapse that helps them, it's the honesty that follows. You've spent years carrying expectations that were never yours. Years shaping yourself around other people's comfort. Years living a version of your life that didn't match your inner direction. And now your unconscious is done waiting. That tension you've been feeling isn't a warning, it's an invitation to reclaim the parts of you abandoned. To stop performing and start becoming. To stop running from yourself and finally return to yourself. Jung said the real journey begins the moment you ask, what am I avoiding? Because whatever the answer is, that's exactly where your transformation lives. There is a stage Jung described that many people fear reaching. Yet it's the very place where transformation becomes unavoidable. He called it the breaking point. Not because you collapse, but because the life you've been clinging to finally cracks open. You know this feeling, when the routines that once comforted you now suffocate you, when the people you used to understand now feel distant, when the habits you relied on suddenly feel empty, useless, or even destructive. This is not failure, it's friction. Jung said the psyche creates friction when the direction of your life no longer matches the direction of your soul. The tension increases every time you force yourself to stay the same, every time you betray your intuition, every time you choose familiarity over growth. And then, one day, the tension becomes too much. Not in a dramatic way, not in a cinematic collapse, but in a quiet realization that hits you unexpectedly. I can't live like this anymore. That sentence marks the beginning of a new life. Jung believed this moment is sacred. The instant when your unconscious finally overrides your excuses. You start to see the truth behind your patterns. You start to notice the pain you've been hiding. You see your own behavior with uncomfortable clarity. It feels like everything is falling apart. But in reality, things are falling into place. Because you cannot transform while still protecting the version of you that's dying. This is why people feel lost during personal evolution. Old desires disappear. Old goals lose meaning. Old relationships feel misaligned. Old dreams crumble quietly in your hands. It feels like losing yourself. But Jung said it's the opposite. It's the beginning of finding the self you abandoned long ago. You're shedding identities that were built on survival. The identity shaped by childhood expectations. The identity shaped by societal pressure. The identity shaped by wanting to be accepted, liked, understood. Those identities were useful once. They kept you afloat, protected, functioning. But they were never meant to be permanent. Transformation begins when the survival self stops being enough. And this is where most people run back to comfort. They cling to the life that's collapsing because it's the only one they know. They choose familiarity even when it hurts them. They choose certainty even when it drains them. They choose their old identity even when it's killing their spirit. But you didn't run. You're still here. That alone means something is shifting inside you. Something deeper than motivation, deeper than inspiration, deeper than logic. It means your unconscious has already chosen growth. And now your conscious mind is trying to catch up. Jung said that once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you notice the cracks, you can't pretend the structure is solid. Once you feel the pull, you can't return to sleep. You're in the in-between now, no longer the person you were, but not yet the person you're becoming. This stage is uncomfortable, unstable, disorienting, but it's necessary because the in-between is where rebirth happens. Your old self is dissolving, your new self is forming, and the life you're meant to live is slowly aligning itself with the person you're becoming. Don't rush it, don't fight it, don't numb it. Jung believed that when you're in this stage, life will test you, not to break you, but to show you what no longer belongs to you. People fall away, opportunities disappear, doors close, patterns reveal themselves. This is not punishment. It's purification. Everything that isn't aligned with your future must be removed, so you can finally step into the life that's waiting for you. Let that preview sit with you for a moment. By now, if you've been following, you might feel it. The tension inside you, the weight of everything that no longer fits in your life. Jung called this the call of the self. The moment when your unconscious refuses to stay silent any longer. It doesn't whisper, it doesn't negotiate, it calls. And if you're listening, it's already shaping the path you're about to walk. Most people avoid this call. They fill the emptiness with distractions. They cling to what's familiar. They numb themselves with routine, noise, or fleeting pleasures. But the truth is stubborn. The truth is patient, and the truth doesn't disappear. It waits until you are ready, or until circumstances force you to face it. This is why you might feel restless lately. Why moments of clarity strike at inconvenient times. Why your past, your choices, your fears, your habits, they all collide inside you with a force that feels unbearable. Jung explained that the ego, the version of yourself that clings to control and certainty, resists this process. It wants comfort. It wants the illusion of stability. It wants the life you've been maintaining, even if it's slowly suffocating you. But the self, the deeper, truer version of you, will not be ignored. And here is the crucial lesson Jung insisted upon. Transformation is not optional. It's inevitable, and it is not always gentle. You will feel broken before you feel whole. You will feel lost before you find clarity. You will face endings before you see beginnings. This is the natural order of growth. The old self must dissolve so the new self can emerge. The old patterns must collapse so new possibilities can exist. The old stories you've told yourself must be released so truth can take root. And here's the part most people never grasp. The suffering, the confusion, the resistance you feel, it is not punishment. It is preparation. The pressure you feel is forging the strength you will need. The chaos is shaping the clarity you will gain. The loss is clearing the space for what you are truly meant to embrace. Jung called this process individuation, the journey toward wholeness. It is the reconciliation of everything you have been avoiding, your shadow, your desires, your fears, your dreams. It is the integration of all parts of yourself into something coherent, powerful, and authentic. And the most remarkable truth is this. The process begins the moment you stop pretending, the moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop waiting for life to give you permission. That is why you're here. That is why you clicked. That is why you are listening. Because deep down, you already know that you cannot go back. You cannot continue living as you were. You cannot ignore the pull of your own evolution any longer. Jung believed that when you embrace this process, everything shifts. Slowly at first, almost imperceptibly, then faster, stronger, more real. You begin to see patterns clearly. You begin to make choices consciously. You begin to act not out of fear, but out of alignment. You begin to live a life that reflects who you truly are, not who you were told to be, not who you've been pretending to be, not who you were afraid to become. And here is the final, undeniable truth. The moment you commit to this inner work, your life is already changing. The moment you face yourself fully, the universe begins to respond. The moment you listen to your own unconscious, everything changes. You are at the threshold of something extraordinary, a life that is no longer dictated by avoidance, a life that is no longer controlled by fear, a life that aligns with the deepest parts of your own being. And now, it's your choice. You can step back into comfort and watch the potential slip away, or you can step forward into your truth and finally begin to live the life you were meant to live. Jung would say, the call has been made. The door is open. The journey has begun. All that remains is for you to take the step. Before you go, pause for a moment and consider this. Transformation doesn't wait. It finds you, even when life feels quiet. The next step in your journey might be a thought, a decision, or even another message that arrives exactly when you need it. If this video resonated with you, if something inside you is shifting right now, make sure you stay connected. Subscribe, not because I ask you to, but because the next message you encounter could be the one that finally completes the shift Jung started today. You're not subscribing for content, you're subscribing for your own evolution and in the journey of becoming who you were meant to be. Every step counts. The door's open, your unconscious is waiting. The next step is yours.